What up? It's your boy Big Vern. Busy day today. Busy day. Things just keep rolling around. We covered Mr. Deboer, wishing him a successful trip at Alabama. Good luck to him and the good folks in Tuscaloosa. Also, the job that he left, Washington. Now, Washington, they hired Jedd Fisch. And a lot of people who don't know who Jedd is, he's Arizona's football coach, former Arizona Wildcat football coach. And I just had to ask, is the Washington job a trap job? Meaning that there's no good options. And did Deboer cash his ticket just in time? We'll talk about those and more when we come back from another 20-second break from an unofficial sponsor of the show. Yes, Big Fitness Energy. Visit the good folks down at Planet Fitness. There's a judgment-free zone. Sign up online or download the app. Make sure you go to Planet Fitness, Big Fitness Energy. Okay. All right. So when we jump into this story out of Yahoo Sports and Nick Bromberg, he talks about Jedd Fisch and Jedd, 47. That's how old he is. He's the next head coach to replace Kalen Deboer. Now, Fisch had rebuilt the Arizona football program over his 3 seasons as the head coach. The Wildcats went 10-3 in 2023 and ended the season on a 7-game win streak that was capped by a winning bowl performance over now newly welcomed SEC team, the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, could Jedd Fisch, he could be a steal in the NCAA college football season that nobody is picking up on now that the Pac-12 has been devoured by the Big Ten. Is that a possibility? I don't know. Could be. Arizona emerged in 2023 as Noah Fifita established himself as one of the better quarterbacks in the Pac-12. Fifita was 241 of 333 passing yards for 2,869 yards and 25 touchdowns with just 6 interceptions in 12 games. That's an impressive stat. That is a super impressive stat. Washington has the 30th ranked recruiting class. That's right, folks. The 30th ranked recruiting class. You're new to the Big Ten. And you've got the 30th ranked recruiting class. They have 4 4-star kids, 11 3-star kids, and 7 transfers. Make that 6 transfers because you got wide receiver Jeremiah Hunter, tight end Trey Watson, defensive lineman Sebastian Valdez, offensive tackle Drew Parati, defensive lineman BJ Green, linebacker Ethan Barr. You had Will Rogers, but when he seen Deboer left, he was going to go, but then he backed out. So pretty much now you got a team without a quarterback that has to fight for legitimacy. You're in a new conference, the Big Ten. It is rough. It is tumble. You're going to need a coordinator who can keep up. And it's not the Pac-12 where it's pretty much outscore and people can throw for the fences. That's not going to get you anywhere in the Big Ten. And so we'll cover more headaches for Washington when we come back from another unofficial break from another unofficial sponsor of the show. So I like Jedd. Don't get me wrong. I like Jedd Fisch. I like everything that he stands for. But when we go and look at the schedule for the Washington Huskies in 2024, the schedule does them no favors. You get Weber State early, and then you play Eastern Michigan. That should at least get you 2 wins, or hopefully go 1-1. You got a bye week, then you play a rival in Washington State, Northwestern. It starts the Big Ten, kind of get you thrown in. Then you see Rutgers. Rutgers is a strong nose. I know Nishiomi is back there, and he has those guys playing like rabid animals. You get the defending champions, the Michigan Wolverines, and then you get the runners-up in the Big Ten championship game, which would be Iowa. After you take those beatings, you get to lick your wounds because you're on a bye week. Again, when you come back, that's not going to do you any favors because you got to go up against Cignetti and his new offense installed in Indiana. And you get Indiana late in the year. So we just don't know what that's going to look like. Then you're back for a former Pac-12 rival in USC. You got to go into Happy Valley and play Penn State. Then you're at UCLA. And then you get a bye week, and then you get your season finale at Oregon. Damn. I think that's the first curse word I said in the history of doing this show. Damn. That's one of the hardest schedules I think I've read this entire year. And what makes it hard is that they have the 30th ranked recruiting class. You had transfers back out on these people because Deboer wasn't there. And now Fisch is standing there to pick up the pieces. Jesus Christ. But about Fisch's background, because before he got the Arizona job, he was a longtime assistant in both college football and the NFL. He spent 2 games as UCLA's interim coach in 2017. Fisch was a quarterback coach for the New England Patriots in 2020. He was the Rams as offensive assistant before that. So from there, again, I like the cut of his jib. He's a coach who's paid dues. He's carved out a spot for himself. I mean, he's aces. When you look at a guy who knows X's and O's and he knows the offense and defense, he's seen the NFL. He's coordinated some of those games. He's worked with famous quarterbacks and elite level talent. So, of course, like I said, it was a no-brainer for Washington's GM to go after him. But at least you got to leave this guy with something in the cupboard. Leave him with something. Like Deboer got out of town. He didn't even recruit. He didn't leave this guy with a stacked house compared to what he got left in Alabama. Nick could have just said, hey, look, no more recruiting for next year. I'm going to still coach this team and win my last national championship. I'm going out with a bang. Then leave you with a bare cupboard. But you left this man with absolutely nothing. That's crazy. Now, Fisch is he's got Big Ten experience. That's going to help Washington because Washington is they're transitioning from the Pac-12, which has been dissolved, and now they're in the Big Ten. He served as Michigan's passing game coordinator in 2015 and 2016 before he joined the coaching staff of UCLA. Prior to that, he was working at Michigan. His coaching stops was as quarterback coach for the Seattle Seahawks under Pete Carroll. They don't need to sell you on Jedd Fisch. Jedd Fisch can do it all. From college to pro, he can manage the expectations in that locker room. But he doesn't have players. And now when you're in the Big Ten, you've got players. Your season finale is against Oregon. The second stretch of coming off your first bye week, you got to play the national champions, Michigan Wolverines. You got to play the Big Ten runner-up in Iowa, a scrappy Rutgers team. You get another bye week. Then there's Indiana waiting to lick their chops to get on you. And that's why I asked you, is this a trap job? You do this to people you don't like. It's like you give somebody a wrong phone number, like how girls used to do back in the day. They used to give you a bad phone number and you couldn't call. Hi, is this Misty? We're like, no, bruh, this ain't no Misty. Oh my God. But I mean, most of you all are like me, because when you read Fisch's accomplishments and you go look over his pedigree and you see his resume, and then you go through it and you got that knee-jerk reaction like, man, they may have just gotten the steal of the college season. But then when you don't see players, you got guys who decommit and go elsewhere. You got all of these transfers, and you basically have a new team starting over. So some people are going to have to win positions. So it's not going to be pretty that first year under Fisch. But I think if the good people of Washington stick with him, you may have something on you. You may have something on you. We got another story we're going to cover. We're going to keep going. We got Ohio State's offensive linemen, the Twins. They say some really great things that give Buckeye fans the wet willies and warm and fuzzies inside. And then we've got a weird story about a kid who's stealing from Target, but he plays in the NBA. Yep. The things they make me do on this podcast. This is Big Vern. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back.